I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Sustain Your Passion. I'm so excited to be talking with Jennifer Crawford, who is the owner and creator of Wounded Warrior Woman, and she has got a freaking awesome story to tell. I'm so excited to hear about your journey, and thank you so much for joining me today. So Jennifer, can you let folks know where they can find you online and just tell them a bit more about your mission and what you're hoping to do with Wounded Warrior Woman?
I am so excited to be here too. Thank you so much for having me here. I have been following your journey and it has just been inspiring. I must say that following your journey has really helped me to kind of get in touch with my own power and the possibility of what I can do. So you've been
Thank
really
you.
inspiring for me that way. But
Wow.
Wounded Warrior Woman is really easy to find anywhere. So you just go Facebook, Instagram, Wounded Warrior Woman, and you should be able to find me. So
Perfect.
that's pretty easy on that. I am a recovering addict, but I've also survived things like being owned and sex trafficked, life-threatening domestic violence, sexual assault, just awful traumatic things that happened. But at this point in my life, I know that they happened so that I can use those experiences to help other people to realize that you can come back from literally anything. There is nothing that you've done, said, been through, endured, nothing that you can't come back from. And that's really my mission. My mission is to help people move past their traumatic oppression, is what I like to call it, because it's like
Yeah.
stuck in it. You're just totally stuck in your trauma and you're reliving it over and over and over again. And it doesn't have to be that way. So,
Right.
so that's really my mission. That's what Wounded Warrior Woman is all about. Just helping people to recognize that what they've been through doesn't have to define their future. And, hopefully we can make something out of it. I'm really excited.
Yes. That's amazing. I love that. And gosh, thank you so much for being so honest with us today. And, folks that listen to Sustain Your Passion, this podcast, are on their own business journeys and they want to reach really big goals, but without burning out. And especially
Right.
when you come with, trauma in your history or, mental illness in your history, or
Mm.
if you identify as a woman, like there are
Mm.
so many layers that
Girl.
make it fucking hard to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, let alone
Yeah.
a mission driven one. And, putting your story out there, embedding your values into your work, and really taking your lived experience and saying, hey, this fucking sucked. Let's help people with this.
Yeah.
Like, that is so
Exactly.
inspiring. So, I would just love to hear your story. Like, how did starting your own personal healing journey result in you deciding to start a business? Like, that transformation from I have pain to this pain can serve a purpose is so inspiring. Just talk me through what that part of your life was like.
So, it's actually a little bit of I say my healing journey because some people freak out when you say spiritual journey. But
Okay, tell me the
and
difference. Or
so
like, do you see it the same?
I see it the same. Yeah, I see it the same.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of people, feel like spiritual has to mean religious, and it doesn't for
Oh,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Interesting. I
you
don't
know,
associate it with religion. Associate it more with like woo-woo, like not
yes.
totally legit science? And yet at the
Right.
same time, it's like, but spiritual connection is legit and everybody fucking needs it. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully it's part of your healing journey.
yeah. So like I'm standing in the street one day. I'm miserable. I'm literally out in the streets. I'm homeless. I have nowhere to go.
Oh
I'm
my
an
goodness.
addict. I have nothing. And in that moment, for some reason, everything just fell on top of me. Like I was just ready to tap out. I was just like,
Mhm.
okay, enough is enough. I don't want to do this anymore. Please, God, universe, creator, whatever, source, energy, whoever you
Yeah.
are, please just take me from this earth and let me start over,
Oh my
like because
God.
I
I've
was
had those
so,
moments too.
you
Wow.
know, and then all of a sudden I know it's going to sound stupid, but all of a sudden in my brain, I realized like I got a download from the universe that just said, you have a choice, right? And I know that
Ooh.
sounds so silly. Like, of course, we all have a choice. But when you're that steeped in your trauma and your pain and your own self pity and horror and guilt and shame, you don't see it that way. You feel like this is the way it's always going to be because I'm just garbage, And in that
Yeah.
moment, I was like, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be this way. And
Mm.
this just weight lifted off of me. And from that moment on, I was moving forward in my healing journey and I never looked back. Um, I got really lucky and I met, not lucky, I feel like definitely there's no coincidences in life, but
Hmm.
I met someone who, and we fell in love, and they also happened to end up being like my incredible support system that I really, really needed because I didn't have one at the time. And it just it just made everything so much easier to have someone that looked at me with all of my baggage and still said, I want you. And
Yes, you matter to stay
right.
here. Oh, I
Yes.
love that. Yep.
Yeah. 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 So I went from that to really like just healings physically, like sleeping, eating, whatever. And then something happened in me, something switched. I said, I have all of this passion, all these dreams, all this creativity. I have to do something with all of this. So I started researching, reading books about healing trauma and, doing research. How can we move through our pain and trauma so we can get to the next thing instead of staying stuck in it like cement, you know?
Hmm.
And I started to learn about how to process our emotions in a safe and healthy way, meditation, writing, journaling, all different tools that you can use to
Yeah.
help yourself process and feel, the things that are stuck in you.
Right.
Um,
Like that's what it comes down to, the processing, the feeling. And like that can be so hard and scary. Oh my gosh. I'm so
yes.
glad to hear you're on the other side of this. Like, oh, keep going, keep going. Okay. So you started researching, you started learning all these
Yes,
awesome
yes.
tools. So
And
good.
then, I don't know, the name just literally came to me, Wounded Warrior Woman. I was a little worried because of the Wounded Warrior Project that I would get me in trouble, but it
Mm.
hasn't so far. So, we'll see what happens with that. But, and I just started writing. At first, it was going to be a blog, and then it just grew and grew and grew. And I got, a little more followers here and a little more followers there. And people started to be inspired by what I was writing and what I was saying. And I said, oh my God, maybe I can help people,
Yes.
And I turned it into a business. And hopefully it will be able to reach out and help some people who really, really need it. And
I
that's the
love
goal.
that. Yes, that's so beautiful because, at the root of what you just shared is your story and your lived experiences matter, right? And it's
Totally.
twofold in that like you had to recognize that that's true so
Yeah.
that you can help other people also recognize
Right.
that that's true. Like you had to go
Exactly.
first
Yes,
in order to
exactly.
make the impact you want to. Like, and it fucking sucks. Like it's
Yeah.
God, it's heartbreaking. Holy shit. Like I can
Yeah.
only imagine like the demons you battle with and like that you're fucking kicking ass over. Like that's amazing. And to be in a place where you have the power and capacity to shape the life that you want to build for yourself is just so beautiful. And I can totally see your mission is so personal to you. It's just, I love that.
It
So, can you
is.
tell me more about your personal values? Like, I can hear how your story has shaped, your mission behind your business, but how do you think your values have influenced the methods you've chosen and how you've, connected with your community? I heard you say
Yeah.
blogs, writing, like how do you think your personal values are showing up in your business these days?
Well, we all know that the world is like almost basically falling apart right now.
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
And
just that.
you know, yeah, just that, nothing
Yeah,
more.
just little
And,
things.
little things like that. And hate is bubbling up everywhere you look.
Yeah.
And so it's super, 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 super important to me. Like, I identify LGBTQ because I am a bisexual woman. So
Uh-huh.
that's really important for me.
Amen,
You
sister.
know, and I've noticed your journey in that
Yeah.
recently, and I'm so proud of you and so happy
Thank
that you
you.
found that inside of yourself and you were able to use your voice to say, you know what, this is who I am, and it's okay.
Yes. Seriously. It's
Um,
so hard, but that's, to the point earlier, like that's really what it has to start with. Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
tell me more, your values.
Yeah, so tolerance is really huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
My podcast, which I'm also going to be starting up again in 2024, which is called
Nice.
Healing into Your Power, will be about my journey and advice on helping other people with their journeys, but it will also be an avenue for me to tell stories that aren't being told, stories like missing and murdered indigenous people in the country that aren't getting enough attention,
Right.
stories that need to be told that don't have a voice and need one. And maybe they have a voice, but they need more voices, so
Absolutely.
so that's really important for me. My values are really surrounded in love. Love for everyone. Everyone is
Mm,
human. We are all human, so therefore we're all the same. We're all different, but we're
right.
all the same, connected.
Yes.
That's
We
it.
all come from the same like source, whatever that
Right.
is. We are more
Right.
alike than we are different.
Exactly. Exactly. And hate does nothing but
Right.
set us backwards,
Yes.
and it's all about moving forward, being in the present moment and looking ahead, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's really where my values are centered, in
Mm-hmm.
tolerance, in love, in
Mm,
welcoming everyone and anyone who has a story, needs help, wants to heal. There's nothing,
mm.
nothing you can't come back from. Nothing.
I love that. It's so clear that, you really truly want to help as many people as you can. And that the lessons you've learned and the concepts you teach about and the stories you share and are giving visibility to are the work. Like that's what the
Yes.
healing looks like. And
Yes.
it's never going to be said enough that a self-love journey has to start with some triggering event. Like you don't start a journey without a start point, right? And
Right.
unfortunately, it's going to be hard, but like fuck it's worth it. So
Yeah.
I love hearing your passion and like how clearly you see your vision. So I'm curious, you mentioned a little bit about next year and like this year, 2024. Holy shit,
Yeah.
we're already in
Yeah.
fucking March.
I
Halfway
know.
through March. We're recording this
I
on
know.
March 15th, and I'm still thinking it's next year is 2024.
Yep, me
Ugh,
too.
I swear. I'm just like, next year, I'm going to plan it. Actually, next year, like 2025, next year, I'm just going to take
Yeah.
off all of winter. Going to be
Seriously.
so
This
nice.
is
Just
not the
hibernate.
new year. This is not the new year. New year
Right?
doesn't start until spring. You know what I
Same.
mean?
So, no, literally, my family's Iranian. And so we celebrate Persian New Year, which is Nowruz, on the spring equinox. So,
Right.
yes, like absolutely with you on that one. So true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so sorry, 2024 is here. Tell me about your 2024 business goals. What's next for
Okay.
you and Wounded Warrior Woman?
So I'm working on a work website right now where people will be able to get in contact with me. I offer a free session where anybody can call and just say, "Hey, I'm working through this thing. Can we talk it out?" Whatever it is. Or if you just want to use the free session to just be like, "Hey, what are you about? Maybe we can work together, maybe we can't, whatever." There'll be that. There'll also be other options for people to work with me long term, if that's something that they're interested in. But I'm also going to, like I said, be working on the podcast again. I'm hoping to get some more guests on, so anybody out there looking to tell a story, look me up.
Yes, oh my
And
gosh, totally.
and and I think I'm going to stick with that. But the big goal for this year is going to, or this year or next year at the latest, is going to be getting my program into places like domestic violence shelters,
Mm,
women's shelters for free. I'm hoping that I can bring things like this to people who need them, but can't afford to pay, $6,000 to hire a
yeah,
coach. You know what I mean? Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so I'm hoping to be able to offer that as well as soon as possible.
I love that. Okay, so just in terms of thinking about like business strategy, I have to say this because it's my fucking hyper focus and I can't not say it.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you were just describing is perfect for basically you can create the same transformation that you want to help people with through your mission, right? Through the Wounded Warrior Woman and through the methods you want to teach them and whatnot. But then you can develop it as 3 different types of offers. So asynchronous, so that people can have a lower cost to access it,
Mm.
and less time on your end because you record the trainings once, you make the workbooks once, and then you sell them over and over and over again.
Ooh,
And then that way that's a lower cost item because you're not putting in more time once you build it once, right? It's just like
right.
build it and then resell it. So there's the
Oh,
first version of the same transformation though, so the same program, the same curriculum in that method. The
okay.
middle tier, so you can be creating all 3 at once. The middle tier is the same coursework and curriculum, but you can add on group coaching calls. So maybe once, twice a month, once a week, whatever you decide.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get time with you in a group setting, which can be so freaking healing because half of
Oh
the
yeah.
time you come in on a group coaching call, you're not going to want to talk, and that's fine, but you're going to be in the space of watching other people ask the same questions as you and realize you're not alone,
Right.
especially when you're going through like feeling at your lowest.
Yeah.
It's really honestly so humbling to remember that like other people have felt this, maybe
Yes.
even you've felt this before, and it
Oh,
is possible to get to the other side.
right.
And then, so that's your middle tier, right? The community, the group aspect. So it's going to be more expensive. It's more of your time. It's more access to you.
Yes.
Then the top tier is that coaching, experience. Maybe not, I don't know what you're comfortable charging, but like,
No,
that's
but
where the
yeah, I didn't
one-on-one could
actually mean
be.
6,000, but yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
what you could someday you might.
Someday, maybe. Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure,
but
for
like
sure.
that is
Yeah.
all you could be thinking about your methods, multiple
Yes.
methods at the same time as you're
I
creating your
love
offer.
that. I love
It's
that.
just it can all kind of go together so you can be working smarter, not harder, because that's what this podcast is all about, right? Reaching your
Yes.
biggest business goals without burning out.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes. And how has that been going with you? Like, because I know that a lot is changing in your life right now. I mean,
Mhm.
how are you?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thanks for asking. Honestly, I'm really good. It sucks like that my relationship with my husband is where it's at right now. And
Yeah.
we're going through divorce, but realistically the love of the relationship is gone. So the marriage is was gone months
Anyway.
ago too. So yeah, at this point it's just kind of a legal situation of like figuring out who gets the dishes, who gets the
Yeah.
lawnmower,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's too bad we can't be in a healthier place of communication with one another to stay friends right now, but I'm still holding hope that, time heals a lot, and maybe one day we'll be able to reconnect as friends. And so personally, emotionally, like I'm doing the best I can and trying to lean
Yes.
in on family and friends and my work, and
Right.
enjoying the sunshine and doing all of my
Mm.
self-love habits every day, holding myself responsible to taking care of myself still,
Yes.
even on days it's fucking hard.
Yes.
But personally doing really well. Professionally, I'm kicking back up all of my content work, and ironically,
Hmm.
I took a couple months off, right? Because it was sort of it was unplanned, definitely, the divorce and everything. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm just going to take some time off. But looking back in 2022, I took September to December off,
Hmm.
and that was planned. And then I just now am taking January basically through March off. I took 2 months off.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing. Like, I'm just going to jump right back in. And that's something that I had to learn over and over and over again in the last, 6 years of entrepreneurship is, yeah, it's going to be really fucking hard sometimes. And similarly to what you were sharing at the beginning, like, you, folks go through terrible experiences and you can come back stronger,
Yes.
and your life is still going to be waiting for you. And so that's the same thing with business. Like
Yeah.
I really can just take a break and then pop back into it. And so can you, right, with your podcast. Like it's
Totally.
still there. You can go start it up again.
Right.
So,
Right.
I think there's something about spring, warmer weather, more longer
Mm.
days and sunshine. Like we are all
Totally.
just blooming right now. So I'm
Yes.
connecting with lots of
Exactly.
folks and enjoying every day still. So thank you so much for asking. It's
Yes. Of course.
complicated but good.
Yes. Yes. I understand that totally.
Right.
Well, Well, I'm so grateful that you allowed me to be a guest on your show.
Yes, thank
Means
you.
so much to me. And like I said, your journey has just been so inspiring for me. And I hope we
Mm.
can stay connected.
Absolutely. I am so excited to see how this year goes for you. And, you mentioned podcast guests. Hit me up when you're ready to start
Definitely.
recording.
You know it. You
Awesome.
know it. You're
Good.
at the
Okay.
top of the list.
Yay. Perfect. Well, thank you
Okay.
so much, Jennifer, for your time and for sharing about your life experience, your business experience, and where you're headed with the community here that listens to the Sustain Your Passion podcast.
Yes.
And next time, I'll have another guest for all the listeners. We'll hear more about budding entrepreneurs' stories and make sure that they've got clarity on their goals and hopefully some tips to sustain their passion along the way. So thanks, Jennifer, again, and bye, everyone. I'll be back next week.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.